Hello Jane, I didn't expect to see you here. I never thought that tennis was a hobby of yours.
Oh hey Stephen. Tennis isn't really my thing. However, I am only after having a baby girl last week and I just needed to get out of the house for a bit of fun and exercise.
Oh Jane, I didn't even know that you were pregnant. Congratulations. How are you and the child keeping?
We are keeping very well. I love her so much. She is just adorable. I just want her to have as good, healthy and most importantly, as long a life as possible. However, as we all know, I have no way of telling it how long she is going to live.
Well Jane, there is definitely no way that we can be certain that your daughter will live until she is 90 years old. However, through survival analysis, we can actually gain an insight into the chances of her living for a certain number of years.
I am intrigued. Please continue, Stephen.
Well, we can set up a simple model of survival. It is important that you realize that a model is an imitation of a real-world system or process.
Yes.
In our simple survival model, the future lifetime of a newborn person is a random variable which is denoted by capital T.
Yes.
We can then use this to set up the survival function of capital T. This survival function is equal to the probability that the future lifetime of a newborn is greater than some value. For example, this model can be used to calculate the probability that your daughter will live until she is at least 80 years old.
So, by using this simple model, I can gain an insight into the probability of my daughter living a long life?
Yes, you can indeed.
So Stephen, is this survival analysis only restricted to the future lifetime of a newborn?
That is a very good question. The answer is no. In fact, we can set up a similar survival model in which we examine the future lifetime of an adult. In this simple model, the future lifetime of a life currently aged X is the random variable which is denoted by capital T subscript X.
Yes.
As before, we can then use this to set up the survival function of capital T subscript X. This survival function is equal to the probability that the future lifetime of a person currently aged X is greater than some value. For example, this survival function can be used to calculate the probability that you will live for another 50 years given that you are currently 32. You also must be aware that the probability that you survive for another 50 years is less than the probability that your daughter lives for another 50.
So Stephen, using your vast knowledge, would you be able to predict at how long my daughter will live for?
Unfortunately, Jane, we won't know this for certain. However, we can use our model to calculate how long we expect your daughter to live for. This is known as the complete expectation of life. Basically, the complete expectation of a life at age X is the expected future lifetime after age X. Using the formula for the complete expectation of life will then allow you to calculate at how long your daughter and you will be expected to live for.
So Stephen, how would my daughter's expected future lifetime be different from my expected future lifetime when I was a child?
Basically, your daughter's expected lifetime will be greater than yours as a child. This is due to improved mortality over the years as populations have been living longer throughout the world. As this is very good news, it also possesses some disadvantages, such as longevity risk. Longevity risk is the risk that due to people living longer, costs associated with that cannot be covered. Types of plans exposed to the greatest levels of longevity risk are defined benefit pension plans and annuities, which guarantee lifetime benefits for policy or plan holders. But I'm sure you're not too worried about this, Jane.
Not at all, Stephen. Bye.